On Global TV News Express, Kanu All Progressive Congress calls for massive e-registration ahead of the 2027 elections. In business, Custom begins new regulatory procedure for courier firms. On the foreign scene, ex-United States sailor gets 16-year prison term for spying for China. And in sports, Morocco looks scary. It will be admits ahead of semi-final clash. Hello and welcome to all the viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ubong Osoro. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Stakeholders of the All Progressive Congress, APC, in Kano State have called for massive participation in the party's ongoing e-registration exercise, describing it as critical to securing victory in the 2027 general elections. A statement issued by the Chief of Staff to former APC National Chairman Mohammed Garba reveals that the meeting revolves that all party members must register and mobilize others, noting that Kanu's strong grassroots base and long-standing loyalty to the party's position is to lead the exercise nationwide. Party leaders stressed that a credible and verifiable membership database is key to strengthening the APC's political structure and improving its electoral performance. Political tension continues to mount in Rivers State as impeachment proceedings against Governor Similaye Fubara and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Odo, dominates the political landscape. Amid the growing uncertainty, two members of the Rivers State House of Assembly have called for restraint, urging their colleagues to embrace dialogue and political resolution in the interest of peace and stability. Sadiya Yakubu brings more details.
The Rivers State House of Assembly has become the center of a deepening political crisis following the formal notice of impeachment served on the governor and his deputy. However, breaking ranks with the prevailing hardline position, Honorable Silvanus Nwankwo, representing Omoma constituency, and Peter Abe of Degema constituency addressed journalists in Port Harcourt, appealing for a calmer approach. Nwankwo, who is the minority leader of the House, acknowledged that there may be constitutional issues, but stressed that the current situation requires political wisdom and compromise rather than open confrontation.
We are here this morning to appeal to the conscience of our fellow colleagues, having listened to so many pleas, calls from our elders and leaders, both within and outside the state, begging for leniency. We are begging, calling our colleagues to reconsider our step and see how this matter can be resolved amicably, even though the governor and the deputy governor has infringed.
In the same vein, Peter Abe warned that escalating the crisis could undermine governance in the state. He emphasized the need for mutual understanding, adding that the governor also has a role to play in ensuring a peaceful resolution.
We want to plead with our colleagues to please reconsider. This, we have received calls from leaders, from people in River State, outside River State, and we see that you don't raise the axe and swing it as you raise it. So we plead with our colleagues to reconsider, to please reconsider, provided the governor too has a role to play.
As pressure mounts from stakeholders within and outside the state for a peaceful outcome, attention now turns to Rivers State House of Assembly to determine whether dialogue will prevail or the impeachment process will run its full course. Sadiya Yakubu reporting for Global Television News.
From Rivers, let's go to Edo State, where the state government has postponed the resumption date for all public and private schools in Edo Central Senatorial District. In a statement, the State Commissioner for Education, Dr. Padi Iyamo, said the postponement is until further notice to enable the state government to address prevailing exigencies and improve the welfare and safety of pupils. The commissioner said the new dates of resumption will be duly communicated to the public in due course. Meanwhile, Senator representing Kogi Central, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, has condemned the arrest and detention of 52 students of the Ambrose Ali University, Ekpoma, in Edo State over alleged violent protest against insecurity, describing the action as a dangerous suppression of youth voices and democratic expressions. In a statement, the senator called for the immediate release of the detained students, insisting that protest and civic engagement must never be criminalized in a democratic society. The lawmaker faulted the handling of the situation by authorities in Edo State, urging the government to redirect its attention towards de-escalating insecurity confronting residents, including kidnapping and related crimes. The National Youth Service Corps has declared its readiness to undergo reforms aimed at addressing emerging national challenges and strengthening its contribution to national development. The Director General of the NYSC, Brigadier General Olakunle Nafiu, stated this at the opening ceremony of the 2026 NYSC Annual Management Conference in Jos, Plateau State. He further stated that the scheme has matured and is positioned to move beyond symbolic nation building to more direct and measurable national impact. In recent years, internet fraud has grown from the fringe criminal activity into a widespread social challenge affecting communities across the country. Once associated with a small group of individuals operating in secrecy, online fraud has become more visible, more organized, and more socially disruptive. Again, Sadia Yakubu brings a report.
The expansion of internet access and smartphone usage has created new economic opportunities, but it has also opened doors for cyber criminals. Many fraudsters exploit social media platforms, emails, and messaging apps to deceive victims, often posing as business executives, romantic partners, or government officials. Unemployment, poverty, and the pressure to achieve financial success have been identified by experts as major factors driving young people into internet fraud. For some, it is seen as a shortcut to wealth in an economy where legitimate opportunity feel limited.
Internet fraud per se can be caused from poverty. Now, the poverty is not based on the teenagers per se, but it's based on the parents. Why do I say the parents? Most African parents, they cannot be able to provide for their wards.
The consequences for victims are often devastating. Individuals have lost life savings, businesses have collapsed, and families have been pushed into financial crisis. Beyond financial loss, victims suffer emotional trauma, shame, anxiety, and loss of trust in others. Many are reluctant to report fraud due to fear of stigma or believe that nothing will be done. International victims in particular have reported damaged perceptions of entire communities and countries, further affecting global relationships and opportunities for honest citizens.
And people want to either harvest data or harvest information that they can then use for personal gain. So the causes is close to government, and it's also said the consequence also affect those who are innocent.
Law enforcement agencies face significant hurdles in combating cybercrime, including limited technical capacities, jurisdictional challenges, and rapidly evolving scam method. While arrests and prosecutions have increased, experts argue that enforcement alone is not enough without addressing root causes. Tackling internet fraud requires a multi-layered approach. Job creation, digital skills training, and youth empowerment programs can provide legitimate alternatives. Public awareness campaigns can help citizens recognize and avoid scams. Stronger cyber law, improved policing, and international cooperation are also essential. Addressing it requires not only arrest and laws, but a collective effort to restore values, create opportunities, and protect the digital future of the society. Sadia Yakubu, reporting for Global Television News.
The National Identity Management Commission has captured no fewer than 127 million Nigerians in its National Identity Numbers (NIN) database as at last December. The Commission spokesperson, Dr. Kayode Adekoke, gave the figure in response to inquiries for updated NIN enrollment for the country. Adekoke said the details of the NIN enrollment across the country would be uploaded soon on the Commission's website. Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa of Ondo State has granted a state pardon to no fewer than 77 convicts serving various jail terms in the state. With the new set of inmates receiving the state pardon, the governor, in a statement by his Chief Press Secretary Ebenezer Adenia, disclosed that inmates received the grace based on reports of positive attitude as well as what he described as genuine remorse. The pardoning of the 77 inmates by the governor was in the spirit of the new year. The University of Maiduguri has dismissed allegations in a viral social media video alleging that some of its students were arrested for collaborating with Boko Haram insurgents, describing the claim as false, baseless, and mischievous. The registrar of the university, Ahmed Lawan, in a statement clarified that no students of the institution has been found to have any link with Boko Haram or any similar extremist group. He said the institution management has never tolerated extremism or violence in any form, stressing that it has consistently remained at the forefront of countering violent extremism, promoting peace and supporting national security efforts, particularly in the northeast region of the country. The police authorities in Benue State has confirmed the attack on Otobi community in Otopo local government area of the state. Gunmen had stormed the community in the early hours of Tuesday, killing 5 people. Among the victims is a House of Assembly candidate for Otopo Akpa State constituency on the platform of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in the 2019 general elections, Igbabe Ochi. However, in a statement, the command spokesperson Udeme Edet said 4 persons were killed in the attack, contrary to media reports. You're watching the live broadcast of News Express. When News Express returns, ex-United States seller gets 16-year prison term for spying for China. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please do stay with us. Now to business. Nigeria is set to secure concrete climate arrangements and funding opportunities at the ongoing Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week in the United Arab Emirates. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, says the event provides a platform to translate climate commitments into actionable projects and real investments for Nigeria, especially following recent global climate engagements across the world. Ki Kelomo Okere brings the details.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, says a major highlight of the visit is a high-level bilateral meeting between President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and President of the United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, during which the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement is expected to be signed. Ambassador Tuga explained that the agreement is aimed at protecting investors on both sides, while also ensuring the safety and dignity of Nigerian businesses and workers operating in the UAE.
It also protects the investment of Nigerians. That, you know, we have a lot of Nigerian businesses doing business in Dubai. Some actually even have factories and so forth. So this further protects them, and it also dignifies the Nigerian. For us, we want to ensure that the dignity of Nigerians is upheld and Nigerians are respected.
The minister further notes that discussion will also focus on harnessing Nigeria's vast gas resources as part of effort to address the country's power challenges. He added that issues such as pipeline development, licensing rounds, and new investment to convert gas and electricity will feature prominently in the talks.
So there's gas. We're looking to invest further in gas for electricity. So because we have a lot of gas, and we need to ensure that we develop that gas to power electricity.
Ambassador Tuga described the engagement as a significant steps towards strengthening Nigerian climate action drive and deepening economic relations with United Arab Emirates. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
The Nigeria Customs Service has announced the commencement of a new standard operating procedure for regulating courier companies operating under the delivery duty paid regime. The newly implemented standard operating procedure sets out a unifying framework for courier activities, covering registration, manifest submission, declaration, valuation, clearance, delivery, and compliance monitoring in line with global best practices. United States President Donald Trump has warned that any country doing business with Iran will face a 25% tariff on trade with the United States, sharply raising pressure on Tehran as deadly anti-government protests continue across the country. The White House offered no further explanation or detail on how the tariff would be enforced or what level of commercial ties would qualify as doing business with Iran. On the foreign scene, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian said rioters should not be allowed to disrupt society. In his first remarks after 3 nights of intensified protests against the country's authorities, protests in Iran had initially been sparked by anger over the rising cost of living that has lasted 2 weeks, becoming a movement against a theocratic system in place following the 1979 revolution. Zahra Nasi reports.
Pezeshkian, in an interview with State TV, stated that protesting is the people's right, but echoed authorities in drawing a line between outcry over Iran's dire economy and rioters the government alleges are backed by the United States and Israel. However, Iranians have consistently maintained that the status quo can no longer be sustained given the current socio-economic status of the nation.
Turkey should stand up for the Iranian people, stand by the Iranian people. We couldn't protest today. We weren't given permission. We couldn't voice our objections. We couldn't protest, and we're here for a peaceful demonstration. But today, the Turkish police didn't allow us.
In our people, in our nation, at least 1,000 people have been martyred, according to the latest news. An intervention is needed. Whether America, President Donald Trump, anywhere in the world, an intervention is needed because our regime is not normal. This time we also have a leader, Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi. We want him. This time, victory is ours, and we are winning.
Meanwhile, large crowds have gathered across the country in recent days, chanting anti-government slogans, despite an internet blackout that rights groups have warned is being used to obscure a deadly crackdown by security forces. State TV has aired images of buildings, including a mosque on fire, with authorities saying members of the security forces have been killed. Zahra Nasser, reporting for Global TV News.
United Nations Refugee Agency's new chief, Barham Salih, has recalled his own experiences at a refugee-led school while on a visit to Kenya during his first trip in the role. The former Iraqi president became the first former head of state to run the United Nations High Commission for Refugees at the start of the year. Uyi Agbomofwegbe completes the report.
Barham Salih has known torture and the wrenching loss of exile. 4 decades after his own ordeal, he has taken the helm of the United Nations Refugee Agency as it grapples with a funding shortfall and ever-rising needs. He said during his first trip in the new role to Kakuma refugee camp in Kenya that it is a profound moral and legal responsibility heading such a pivotal arm of the United Nations. While in Kenya, he particularly praised the refugees' tenacity, an attribute he noted they have shown even in the face of daunting challenges.
Visiting Kakuma, you understand the scale of the problem that we have. And obviously Kenya has been quite remarkable and truly stands out as a model for protection in this troubled region. The scale of the needs are undeniably still very, very high. But when you meet these young people, one is humbled by the resilience and by the commitment that they have to make in it.
The Kakuma refugee camp is East Africa's second largest, hosting roughly 300,000 people from South Sudan, Somalia, Uganda, and Burundi. It has been in place since 1992. Uyi Agbomofwegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
In sports, Nigeria's Super Eagles midfielder Alex Iwobi has said Morocco will be a tough team to beat at the African Cup of Nations semi-final. The Fulham midfielder admitted that the Atlas Lion looked really scary, adding that he watched their performance against Cameroon. Nigeria is faced with a much more difficult task of playing the host nation, the Atlas Lion, in Rabat on Wednesday after defeating Algeria 2-0. Meanwhile, Nigeria's Ademola Lookman currently leads the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations goal contribution chart in Morocco. The Atalanta forward has 7 goals contribution, 3 goals and 4 assists to his name so far. Behind Lookman is fellow Nigerian teammate Victor Osimhen, who has 6 goals contributions. Tottenham Hotspur are closing in on signing Atletico Madrid midfielder Conor Gallagher after moving ahead of Aston Villa in the race for England's international. Spurs expect to complete a €35 million deal for the 25-year-old after indicating that they are prepared to meet Atletico's valuation in full. Atletico has been open to selling Gallagher outright this summer, and Tottenham's willingness to proceed with a permanent transfer has put them firmly in a pole position. As Global Television News Express comes to an end, here's a recap of our top stories. Stakeholders of the All Progressive Congress APC in Kano State have called for massive participation in the party's ongoing e-registration exercise, describing it as critical to securing victory in the 2027 general elections. In business, the Nigeria Customs Service has announced the commencement of a new standard operating procedure for regulating courier companies operating under the delivery duty paid regime. On the foreign scene, a former United States Navy sailor, Gertrude Ware, has been sentenced in the federal courts to 200 months in prison, approximately 16 years after a jury convicted him of spying for China by selling United States military secrets to the Chinese intelligence office. And in sports, Nigeria's Super Eagles midfielder Alex Iwobi has said Morocco will be a tough team to beat in the African Cup of Nations semi-final. And that's it on News Express. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTime channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now shown on your screen using @GlobalTVNG. I am Ubon Usoro. Bye for now.